Stephanie from FemPro Armour and Miss MXG, and today we have Rosa with us today. So thanks, Rosa, for joining me on this Skype call. Rosa put a comment on Lisa from Race and Road when she posted a couple of weeks ago about our FemPro Armour chest protection, and Rosa commented on there and said of what kind of accident she had when she came off her bike. And so I've reached out to Rosa, and not that I was excited to hear the news that she had, but I wanted to hear about her experience of what actually happened, so that in her accident, and what kind of an impact it had on her breast and chest area. So Rosa, again, thank you so much for joining me today on this Skype call. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so tell me, what happened?
Hi, Stephanie. Great to speak to you. Well, basically, I was riding solo. I got distracted by concentrating, I think, too much on looking on a driveway that I was looking for. I think I slowed down too much on reflection of everything. I've come off the bike when I've fallen at a low speed, mind you. My chest hit the side of the road, which was actually going back up into a hill. So so think of it as the road is flat, and then there's the side of the hill going up that way. So my chest is hit right onto the side of the hill, full force with the left side of my chest. I felt like my breast literally had exploded on impact. That's how it felt. That's the only way I can explain it. Painful straight away. Luckily for me, somebody else come along, has helped me along the way. Got to my friend's place, which was just up the road. I rested. The pain progressively got worse over the time. It wasn't until the next day that I went and sought medical attention by X-ray. Nothing showed up on the X-ray. It basically was, what the doctor told me was a lot of soft tissue damage. My breathing was very, very laboured, very, very painful. I could barely sleep at night because when I was laying down, it was actually causing even more pain because of the just laying down and not being sitting up. Anyway, I went and got some more tests done a couple of days later because this pain was just getting worse. An MRI scan then showed two small hairline fractures just on the left side of my chest, close to the sternum, so mid-chest basically, which explained a lot of the pain. So you know, they just told me all I can do with that is just rest up, try to sort of take in plenty of deep breaths, because what happens is then with all the shallow breathing, you can actually develop pneumonia.
Oh, wow.
Then another complication. That's exactly right. So you know, between trying to take deep breaths and not screaming in pain at the same time, this lasted for a good 2 weeks of a lot of pain.
What kind of gear were you wearing when you had the accident?
Great that you've asked me that, because I was actually wearing full gear, so full protection, proper bike jacket, kevlar jeans, everything that you need to. I'm a learned rider, so I'm super, super careful because I don't want to injure myself. You know, I'm in my mid-50s. You know, these little accidents become big accidents. Doesn't matter how small it is, because, you know, I also have osteoporosis, which I need to be really careful with my bones. So full protection.
But you didn't have anything on your chest area? Because we, you know, tend to think on the road we have shoulders and elbows and we have a back plate, and some of the armor that we can get do have a little bit of chest protection, but it's all flat. Obviously, did yours had anything in it, or?
Just the usual bike jacket, dry rider, just a textile one, exactly. So yes, it had protection, but obviously on the front, it's minimal, which is probably why the impact was so much for me. So, you know, like you said, when I saw your post, which was a couple of months after my accident, I just sort of thought, oh my goodness, this is what I needed. This is what I should have had,
Yeah.
which in my mind would have protected me
Yeah.
in one way or another. I certainly wouldn't have been as injured. I may have had some bruising, but I believe, wouldn't have broken any bones
Well,
at all.
the problem also that I see is when you have breast chest injury, you get breast tissue injury, which then can have other complication later down the track. If that means if you're in childbearing years, you might have problems with your milk ducts, or that it may, I'm not saying it does, that it may bring on later on breast cancers. But for me, the biggest thing is when we break our sternum or ribs, you can puncture all sorts of things, your heart, your lungs, and then and we don't need to go fast in order to hurt ourselves a lot.
No,
People tend to think you need to drive or ride 200 k's an hour to get injured really badly. Yes, it does, but you can get quite badly injured at a very low speed as such as well. So,
absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what I was doing. I was slow, probably too slow, which is why I toppled over. I was probably only doing about 20,
yeah,
25 k's. You make a selection of what I would call now errors, but at the
oh,
time, so focused on other, and like you said, a low speed, I should say, can cause
yeah.
major
So
injury.
how long were you completely off with the injury that you sustained? How many weeks did it take you to, get over it so that your life was back on track?
Yeah, all in all, a good 6 to 8 weeks. It was about 8 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, after about 2, 3 weeks, the pain subsided, but there was no way I was going to be able to go riding and do any other activities. I had to take it easy. So yeah, the pain with anything, it's always, with time, it's always going to improve.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good 7, 8 weeks before I actually went for another ride. So
Wow.
yeah,
For
it
me,
was really disappointing.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to wish out on anyone any injuries, any bruising. When I did my research in regards of our chest armor, I did also a lot of research in regards of breast implants, because as we know, the younger generation and even women in our age will have breast implants. So the thought for me is that if you hit an implant with such great force, the damage that can happen, and then the silicone or the liquid or whatever is in the actual implant is then in your chest cavity. So to clean something like that up, and it may even have other complications, was just, for me, the thought of that was even a greater, I thought it's even a greater need that we need to protect our chest from any impact. It doesn't need to be just motorcycle. It can be anything, any sports where there's an impact, or even when you work with large animals such as horses or cows, the impact that it can have on our chest is just so great. And the other day, I spoken to someone who said that. So he's a paramedic, and they said if they come to an emergency on the side of the road, they don't really care about limbs as such, the arms and legs. But if they have to open your chest, your survival rate goes down to 5%. So, which is a very scary thought. And obviously, that he said the majorities are motorcycle and cars, obviously, that have these kind of injuries. So, yeah, wow.
Totally. I mean, going back to the breast implant, yes, it's major surgery for having that clamped up, and a breast implant would most certainly have burst with that
Yeah,
implant, that impact.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a lot to sort of consider. You don't want to go through surgery as well as healing of broken bones. Like you said, a broken rib can puncture a lung. You've got your spleen, you've got your heart, you've got your kidneys coming from the back of the rib cage, and then you've got your liver as well. They're all your vital organs, all of them.
So,
And
but obviously, sorry for interrupting, but you actually went and bought my chest armor, and you also bought the sports bra so that you can now wear the armor under your textiles, because obviously you're not a dirt bike rider like I am. So you do wear different kind of protection than we do.
Yeah.
And so tell me, how did your ride, the first ride that when you had it on, how did that feel? Wearing now the chest armor, not just from a protective component to it, but more from a psychological component, because I find when I come off the bike, it does take me a little while to get back on the track, to get my confidence again, because obviously we don't want to get hurt. So how did that make you feel, wearing something now that was protecting you way much more than before?
Well, I actually made me feel like, well, because I felt protected, it made me feel like a little bit more confident. Just, relax, enjoy the ride, do what you need to do. I've got to say, I totally forgot that I was even wearing it. And I was riding, it was only last weekend. I was going to my daughter's place, a good hour and 20 minutes away, in the traffic. And I have to say that it wasn't until about 40 minutes into it that I sort of just suddenly thought, oh, that's right. I'm wearing this. I'm wearing this protection arm. It's like, I can't even feel it. I could not even feel it. So, and it just made me smile. I remember smiling inside my helmet going, this is fantastic. And I just felt like, not that I was planning on falling, when no one wants to fall off their bike, but it just made me feel like, well, if I do stupidly drop the bike again, well, I'm going to feel okay. I know I'm not going to be too injured. So it's super, super comfortable. I'm so, so happy with it.
Well,
Made me feel great.
yeah, the armor, I will never claim that the armor will make you not being hurt, because no one can do that. However, there's a big difference about just having a bruise or broken ribs, or a punctured lung. So I take a bruise on my chest at any stage, but
Anytime.
but I don't want any breast tissue injury, because obviously of what can happen years down the track. So I'm very glad to, well, I'm really glad that we have come together, and thanks for sharing your story about your injury. And I'm so terribly sorry that I wasn't able to create this armor before your accident. It would have been so much better. And yeah, but again, so thank you for sharing your story. And I hope that anyone who listens to us can resonate with what you said, and go out and get themselves some chest armor. And if anyone is looking for the chest armor and the sports bra, you can go to femproarmor.com or missmxg.com, or give us a shout out. I'm sure if you're down in Sydney, Rosa will be somewhere on the streets wearing the gear.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to meet up with anyone if they want to check it out and have a feel, have a look at it. Yeah, try it on. By all means, like you, if I could help as many or at least one person to sort of and save them from major injuries, that's a great thing. So I fully recommend it. Absolutely. It's I'm coming from a novice learner rider. I would recommend this to anyone. Absolutely anyone.
Well, you don't need to be a learner rider, because I'm not a learner rider and I constantly still fall off. Okay, it's because I'm on dirt. It's a bit different, but accidents can happen so quickly. I've just been to the forest, and you can have a wallaby coming out and cleans you out, and it doesn't matter if you are a novice or a seasoned rider, people will fall off. And that's why we have to wear helmets, and that's why we have to wear proper boots, and obviously chest protection.
Protection. It's everybody else that's surrounding you that can
Exactly.
create an accident. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you connecting with me, and I promise when I come to Sydney, I will see you and we go for a ride.
I'm going to hold you to that. Yes, I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.